And right now, let's just go straight to the other speaker, and it's none other than Pradyut Bikram Manikya De Burma. Well, Pradyut Bikram Manikya De Burma, also known as PBK Manikya, is the head of the Royal House of Tripura. He was born and brought up in Delhi, India, and is the current General Secretary of the Tripura Pradesh Congress and also the editor of TNT, the Northeast Today magazine.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the chairman of the Royal Heritage Hotel, the member of the All India Congress, the chairman and editor of the Northeast Today magazine, the advisor to the Northeast Students Committee in New Delhi, the advisor to the Northeast Regional Development Association, the chairman of the Royal Tripura Foundation, and the member governing council, Tripura Central University. Presenting to you, Mr. Pradyut Bikram Manikya De Burman.
Thank you. The biggest problem, I'm going to speak on a subject called politics here, which is probably not the most interesting after a lovely performance of jazz. But first thing for starters, maybe I'm out of place in TEDx because I guess a politician, a journalist, is not someone you would like to hear these days. That's why you don't see me with a Robocop. Maybe I'm out of date, so I'm using this mic. Let me tell you something about myself before I go on and speak on a subject which I've been asked to speak about. I am from Shillong, in a way because I studied in Shillong all my life. And maybe I consider Shillong my first home in a lot of ways than Tripura, because most of my friends are from here. I see quite a few of them in the crowd. Politics is something which is not many youth today take up as a career. And the subject is good governance, clarity. I'm supposed to speak on why youngsters should also accept politics as a career, maybe become more political conscious. I got into politics by default. I still remember it was 1996, if I'm not mistaken. It was 25th of February, and I know that because Ajax was playing Inter Milan in Champions League. It was 1:30 in the morning, and there was a knock on the door. My chowkidar, I stay in Tripura Castle, he'd come and he said, there are some armed gunmen outside my house and they want to enter the place. Now this is Shillong in 1996-97. Was not the most peaceful time. So we were worried, but we allowed the gate to be open because they also could have been cops. Anyway, at 1:30 in the morning, the police entered our house and without any warrant, without any evidence, picked up my sister at 1:30 in the morning and took her to the police station without any evidence. When we asked them why, they said, we have to do it because you're from Tripura, there's a lot of insurgency happening. There was some evidence, but they never shared it with us. Armed male policemen came at 1:30 in the morning and took my sister away. Well, I don't know if they did it for the right reasons or for the wrong reasons. They may have got a wrong lead or something. But for the first time in my life, I felt conscious of my identity. I was told that yes, there is a problem and we are going to view you in a certain manner because you represent your identity, your ethnicity represents that problem. Fast forward, growing up in Shillong, the 90s was a turbulent time, the early 2000s was different. You see, when people say the head of the royal family of Tripura, they generally expect me to come in an elephant. The only guy who dresses up like a Maharaja these days is a magician like PC Sarkar. But yet there are stereotypes which are built and we need to break those stereotypes. Why would someone get into politics when it is dirty, it is corrupt? Why do you get into it? Well, I got into it for primarily one reason. Tripura faces immediate problems of unemployment, of lack of development, of illegal migration from Bangladesh. Something which we never raise these issues about. But when you enter a national party, there are times when your voices are scuttled. And why are they scuttled? Does Delhi tell you, don't speak your mind? I doubt it. I have openly spoken against Armed Forces Special Powers Act, though our party stand is not very clear. The Congress is not very clear on that. I believe that cheap vote bank politics and importing voters from Bangladesh or Nepal, or for that matter, any neighboring country, regardless of the religion, is something which we should not tolerate. Does the party hang you for it? No. Eventually, what you need to speak is for your people and not for your party first. And that is the primary functioning of a politician, of a leader. Party is second. Your people always come first. Now, does that make you an indisciplined soldier of the party? Well, I doubt it. But if they do, then I'm willing to be an indisciplined soldier of the party. And why only in politics? I think when you all are young, you should always stick your neck out. You should always stand for something you believe in. And politics gives you an avenue. It is not the only avenue. I know for a fact that Northeast has plentiful of problems. Do we address it? No, we say we will address it every 5 years when we vote. Our biggest problem is that we give a free hand to a political leader for 5 years, and the only time we have to bring them down is during elections. I think this is a faulty mechanism in the first place. And that happens because we don't engage, we don't ask the right questions. We expect some NGO to ask some questions, but as individuals, we keep silent about it. And this happens even in an educated society like what we say in Shillong. Forget Kohima, forget Itanagar, forget Tripura, Agartala, forget Imphal. It happens in Shillong. We don't engage. You know, I was hearing some of our leaders and speakers here, and they were saying about how to control debris in space. Very interesting subject. But what about controlling the filth right outside State Central Library? We don't ask these questions. And these are fundamental problems of our political system here today. And the youth are so disenchanted or are so moved away from this actual reality, we don't realize that this affects us as well. You know, there's a saying, and I've repeated myself a lot of times saying, if good people are not willing to enter politics, we should stop complaining about bad people ruling us. While we celebrate democracy, it is fine to celebrate democracy, but democracy is just not voting. It is also about understanding the fundamentals of a system. I go to Delhi, and sometimes they say, oh, you're from Northeast. Tell me, tell me, how far is Bhutan? They don't know that Bhutan is not a part of India. Some other time they say, oh, in Shillong, in Police Bazaar, will a tiger cross the road? This is the level of ignorance. Seriously. A lot of times they say, Shillong, Ceylon, Sri Lanka. Right? Now I can understand this ignorance if this was in 1975, 1985, 1995. For heaven's sake, this is 2014. We have Wikipedia. Right? It's not that they don't know about it. A lot of them just don't care enough about it. Now, is it for us? Yes, it is for us to meet halfway. And we can do it as musicians. We can do it as journalists. We can do it as industrialists. We can do it as academicians. I can do it as a politician. I wish someone does it for sports. You know what Shillong Lajong or Rang the Jade has done for Shillong in terms of football is probably more than any chief minister in a long while. So we all have roles to play. But when we represent our state, our region outside, we need to be clear. And that's where my second point comes. I don't have any time frame here or so, but then I'll tell you, clarity is very important. A leader needs to be clear. In the 21st century, we have Facebook, we have Twitter, we engage. If we don't engage, we will be booted out. The problem is that the amount of feedback that we get in Facebook probably doesn't resonate when we meet people one-to-one. And we need that sort of leadership within our society. A lot of people will say a billion people rising. You know, Arnab Goswami says this all the time. The nation needs to know. Frankly, nation is bigger than the Times Now office. But we blindly follow him. A couple of years ago, this is where I'm coming with clarity and I'm bringing in media as well. The whole country was outraged that, you know, Indians were being kicked and beaten up in Australia. Right? Kicked and beaten up in Australia. And then what happened? Suddenly it stopped. And then there was an ad which came. Australia celebrates you. You had basically blackmailed the government for you to get more ads to keep quiet from this propaganda. Suddenly last year there was Richard Loitam and Dana Sangma issue was there. And there was a particular university which was targeted. They went hammers and tongs. Today, are we even talking about it? No. But the primetime news channel that we talk about is being sponsored by the university. So obviously they will not raise these issues. We as individuals need to read between the lines where there is paid politicians, there are paid journalists, there are paid people for everything in this country. Let's not buy into a dream because you find it appetizing. Study the dream. Study what the person is saying. Clarity. I'll give you a story about what happens when there's no clarity. You know, every year we have this farmers convention. And farmers come from developed countries and they speak about, to Indian farmers, about the problem that we have. So, a couple of years ago, there was this farmers delegation and they had come down. And as usual, you know what happens in New Delhi is that you sit in a 5-star hotel and then you just have, you just discuss the semantics. You actually never go and talk about the real issue. So one of these American farmers, he was a Texan, Chuck Norris country, cowboy hat. He wanted to see the real India. Now, I'm sorry I don't have such a good American accent as some of my earlier speakers, but I will try to say something. So this American farmer one day quietly got out of this 5-star hotel and got into a taxi. And he said, "Hey man, I want to see the real India. Take me beyond Delhi." Chalo. So taxi driver said, "Meter on. Chalo." Went. They took him beyond Gurgaon, Brijwasan, slightly to the rural part of Haryana. And there he met this Indian farmer. So this American farmer, he went up and said, hey friend, how big is your farm?" So this Indian farmer was a proud son of soil from Gurgaon, Haryana ka tha bhai. He said, "Oh Sarji, you see that road at this side?" He said, "Yes." "And you see that river this side?" He said, "Yes." "Everything in between is my land." So the American Texan farmer, true Texan that he was, he said, "My dear friend, I wake up every morning at 5:30. I get into my tractor, and by the time I'm in my eastern part of my farm, it's 9:30. I have my breakfast, I have my grits, I have my bacon, the hash browns, and then I get into my tractor again. And by the time I reach the northern end, it is 1:30. It's time for lunch. So I have a bit of my meal, my corpse lob, and then I get to my tractor again. And by the time I reach the southern end of my farm, it's 5:30. So I have a bit of my coffee, I say hi to my workers, and I get to my tractor again, and by the time I reach home, it's 8:30 at night. So the Indian farmer looked at him and said, I know. I had a tractor like that once." Clarity for him, but this is the truth. This is the irony here. Two people talking in two different languages, and this happens in this region all the time. While we are talking about having bowling alleys, we are not talking about covering up the sewage right outside your house. We are not talking about the immediate challenges that we need to face. And that is something which will never go. So as a leader, as a politician, as a journalist, there are three things which I personally stand for. And the most important thing is clarity. The moment we are clear in what we have to do, you may not agree with what I say, but at least you know where I stand and what I stand for. Therefore, for young people, you should ask more debates. If you have a local MLA or a MDC election, you tell them, okay, you are the 3 leaders who are contesting. In my constituency, I want an open public debate. America does it, and not everything the West does is bad. There are a lot of pluses we can learn. There's a lot of things they can learn from us. There's a lot of things we can learn from them. Have an open debate. Have a 15-point charter where they say what they want to. And you can ask them questions yourself. Elections, politics should not be based purely on emotions. It should also be on factual realities. We live in a multi-ethnic society. And today, it is very easy to make one fight against another without actually getting into the root of the problem. Whether it is in-line permit, whether it is migration, whether it is lack of jobs, connectivity, there is unemployment, lack of entrepreneurship. You all are the people who need to engage. Every country has a cycle every 50 to 100 years. And this is India's time. The youth population in this country is the highest ever. And instead of asking questions like, oh, politics is so dirty, yeah. That's what I hear all the time. Well, you cannot ignore it. It's there. And you need to either clean it or you will be affected by a dirty government. So question your leaders. But question them when you equip yourself. And nobody in this country, no political leader, no political party, including mine, honestly speaking, will go out of the way to equip everyone. And beware of Robin Hoods. We have a lot of Robin Hoods as well. And we can create, there's a vigilante which takes place. We can create leaders overnight. When the Anna Hazare movement took place, everyone, my mother, she was so much into it. And then what happened? The TV cameras went and started asking Anna Hazare about every question, from every subject. Initially it was against corruption. Then it went into Sachin Tendulkar's footwork. Then it went to India's economy. And then it went on into something else. And the original agenda was taken away. And poor Anna, he said, हाँ सचिन को incoming delivery right hand से खेलने चाहिए. But poor guy, he spoke. At 9 o'clock is national primetime TV. If you go to Amitabh Bachchan and say, what do you think about the fiscal deficit? Poor guy, he loves the camera. He will say, हाँ ऐसा है कि fiscal deficit को 9.5% में करना चाहिए. Right? And then I shall speak. He is taking away your valuable time. Ask that to the finance minister of India. Ask that to the RBI governor. And say, what are you going to do about it tomorrow, day after? That is the way for us to go ahead. Let's not confuse entertainment with infotainment with information. Today, information is power. And the only reason in this country politics is lagging behind is because there's not enough information about politics, politicians, or political parties. Bring political parties under RTI. Let us know where the funding comes from. Ask these questions. I am telling you, this country will be ahead of any other country if you can clean up these details. They may look small to you today, but you actually have the power to change it. And the only power that you have to change it is through your own power of mind, not the vote. Your mind is the biggest thing every fake or corrupt leader fears from. If you unite yourself as an individual, as a community, and be a proud Khasi, be a proud Naga, be a proud Tripuri, be a proud Bengali, be a proud Indian, but don't take away that pride by fighting against someone else. In diversity, this country lies, and that is what my message is. That is what clarity is, that is what vision is, and that's where politics of India should head tomorrow. Belaino Hambai, Khublai Shibon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pradyut Manikia De Barma.